Hey guys, it's your good old buddy KB here. Now that we've all had some time to play this, hopefully you guys have had enough time to complete it, I feel it is a good time to review Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I thoroughly enjoyed this expansion. Downloadable content, expansion, whatever you call it. So, I have some thoughts on this. I think everyone's had some time to really sit and think and really play through this. So, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my overall review of Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. So, I figure the first thing I should get out of the way right here is the difficulty. Yes, this DLC is extremely difficult. Considering the difficulty of the base game, you knew they were going to ramp it up and give us some serious shit to deal with. And this DLC is no exception. These enemies hit hard. They have ridiculous delay attacks. They have huge health pools. It really is an extremely difficult experience. If you ask me, as someone who's been playing these games since Demon Souls, I personally think that this downloadable content, this Shadow of the Erdtree, might very well be the hardest, game, DLC, whatever you want to call it, that FromSoft has ever done. This freaking enemies, the world here, the bosses, man, it is extremely difficult. So it is not really, I don't really recommend this for the faint of heart. If you didn't enjoy the hardest parts of the Elden Ring base game, you're not going to enjoy this. It's really, really difficult, but in a sense that as soon as I completed it, I actually felt a sense of accomplishment, which is always a good thing. So some of the enemies in this do feel cheap. It really kind of does feel like they amped up the artificial difficulty to a certain extent in this because, man, the input reading that we all know and love is alive and well, and the enemies in this game are no joke. Well, I should say in this DLC are no joke. It's it can be fun and fulfilling defeating them, but at the same time, some of them just feel like a serious pain in the ass, and they were just put in there to be difficult. But hey, I can deal with it, and I think most of you guys could too, but the cheap factor is kind of alive and well, so it is what it is there. The world itself, the realm of Shadow, is actually extremely well done, if you ask me. It gave me some Dark Souls vibes, the way the whole world interconnects. It's extremely well done. I really enjoyed it. But the one thing, some of us players had a hard time accessing all areas to this game. The way they put it together, the north and south, the up and down, kind of a lot of areas are pretty well hidden. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what you're looking for, if you don't check out the visual cues, you could get lost. You could find yourself running around a map that seems very just open and void of enemies. That is certainly not the case. As long as you can find... Oh, jeez. Leave me the fuck alone, guys. I'm talking here. So, if you are getting lost and finding the world to be a little too open, seemingly dead, with not much going on, I highly suggest heading downwards. I know I've mentioned that before. A lot of people have mentioned head down, but it's something the game doesn't really explain all that well. It's not like FromSoft ever really does explain things all that well and the way the world connects. They don't really do too well of a job of explaining much of anything. We kind of have to figure it out on our own, but the way the world interconnects I thought was fabulous. It was very well done. Again, like I said, it gave me some Dark Souls 1 vibes, but I do understand how it could be somewhat difficult for some players to really, truly get a gauge for the whole, as big, as interconnected as this game world is. It is really well done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. It really, truly feels much more immersive when a game world is as open and interconnected as this one. It was always pretty exciting to me when I found myself wandering around a new area that I could just spot on the map. I knew it was there. I had a feeling that It was an area I was supposed to explore, supposed to get into, so when I finally did reach it, again, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I felt a sense of like, yeah, hey, that's really cool the way they did that. So, you know, I really hope that they continue on this trend, because I feel some of the FromSoft games have gotten a little bit too linear, but at the same time, I hope they don't go too overboard when they have these interconnecting worlds, because it can get a little bit confusing. But again, when done right, there's a sense of accomplishment. It's really cool to look out and see an area, not know how to reach it, and then finally reach it and be like, damn, that was cool. I did want to give a quick mention to these NPC quest lines here, and the NPCs in general. They are pretty standard down the line of FromSoft NPCs and quest lines. They're confusing, they seem kind of convoluted, the rewards are iffy, but they're here, same as they've always been. If you guys want to put through some effort and go through the NPC quest lines, good for you. I know I miss some. So maybe on some future playthrough I'll be able to head through them all and get all the rewards. So anyway, the NPCs are what they are. Do not expect anything different or anything special in the way FromSoft does them. It just kind of is what it is, and that is that. In what world would the DLC be complete without some really cool new weapons, spells, and abilities, right? Well, this did not disappoint. There's some cool stuff they added into this, man. That I have some fun with this. Straight up, one of my favorite things. I don't know how powerful these really are. I haven't really given too much thought into the power level, but I mean, come on, everyone always wanted to do some martial arts in these Souls games. It's incredibly fun and satisfying to run around and just beat enemies down with my fists. I didn't think it'd be this cool until I actually got them and started using them. How much I would enjoy using martial arts. I mean, like I said, it's not really like, I don't know how powerful it is or how truly useful it really would be against some tough enemies, but just the fact that they incorporated this brought a smile to my face, man. I always have kind of been a fan of different methods of playing these games, different methods of attack, magic, spears, axes, swords. Now you can use your bare fists. Nice addition. Very nice addition, if you ask me. This new weapon type, the backhand blade, has quickly become one of my personal favorites. It is incredibly fun to use this thing. I mean, just check this stuff out, dude. We've never been able to do things like this that I can remember, huh? So, not only is it really cool looking, it's got just a very unique moveset. If I don't mess up here. Jeez. Talk about sloppy gameplay, huh? Very fun to use, very cool. All kinds of new stuff here. And of course they did add some, standard weapon types. New weapons for the standard weapon types, I should say, huh? Some of this stuff is really, really powerful. And they did a good job of... Dude, okay. Man, blinded and everything, huh? They did a pretty good job of adding some new weapons to the our already favorite types that are incorporated into the game. So if you're looking for some good old-fashioned stuff that we're used to using, great swords, colossal swords, hammers, and all kinds of things like that, that stuff is still here. They've added some cool new fun ones. So don't worry about that. If you're looking for some new weapons from the old-fashioned types, you won't be disappointed. They've also added some cool new spells. Nice and handy. Some of the new incantations are quite useful as well. Check this out. Pretty good damage. So, thank you very much. Enough of the smithing stones. If you're looking for some cool new Ashes of War as well, you will not be disappointed. There's some really cool stuff in here. I mean, some of this stuff does a lot of damage, so hopefully you guys will be pleased with it. I'm pretty happy with them. And the meat of this discussion, the meat of the DLC, the bosses. These bosses are ridiculous. Some of the most difficult, hardest hitting, fastest attack swinging, just kind of annoying delayed attacks, huge health pools, combos that'll kill you in seconds. All of that is here on full display and all of its glory. If you are looking for a straight up challenge, some of the hardest bosses you have ever faced in any video game, this is it. So, if you're not looking to get your ass handed to you with some straight up extremely difficult bosses, you may want to stay clear of this. And I really mean that. It's a fun challenge, it really is, but you have to remember that you're going to get destroyed. Unless you're one of the most elite players at the Souls games, it's gonna be hard. I struggled mightily defeating some of these bosses. So, again, if you're into getting your butt kicked over and over again by some ridiculously overpowered bosses, oh man, I'm in for the fight of my life. And just like that, your adventures will be over. You will get destroyed over and over again. But hey, it is what it is, right? At least they didn't leave us empty-handed. They did give us a couple of new tools to combat these new bosses in ridiculous areas. Some great new Spirit Ashes. This one might be my favorite of the new ones. He is just a giant tank. This guy, I have seen him tank some ridiculous amounts of damage. Some of these new Spirit Ashes are a lot of fun. They do have their place. You don't always have to use the Mimic. But it does still boil down to the Mimic. So, that being said, the new Spirit Ashes are cool, but none of them can match the Mimic. It is what it is, but this guy, do not sleep on this guy. He is cool. If I have to give this DLC a grade, I am going to go ahead and give it I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10. It is incredibly entertaining. More of the same. If you're a fan of Elden Ring, fan of the Souls series, you are going to enjoy it. Is it the most difficult DLC they've put out? Probably. Is it the best DLC they've put out? Probably. So, I really don't think... the $40 price tag, don't get me wrong, is a bit steep. But trust me, if you guys are looking for some more Souls content, you enjoy Elden Ring, and if you're just curious if this is worth it, what you're in store for, and what I think of it, it is fantastic. It is worth the $40. It is a 9 out of 10. It is a 9 out of 10. Probably my favorite DLC that FromSoft has put out. Then again, it's the newest. I haven't... it's the freshest in my mind, so I enjoyed it immensely. I hope you guys have as well. If you're asking me for my honest opinion, I say buy it. $40 is almost the price of a game, about half the price of a new game these days, but this one is worth it. You shouldn't regret it if you enjoy Elden Ring. So, hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for spending some time with me. 9 out of 10, Shadow the Erdtree. Peace out, guys.